Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome to a brand new mini-series that I am creating with the Elfian Animal Healers, the beings of inspiration that work with the healing frequency for the animal kingdom. We are creating this mini-series to offer some insight into the frequencies of rhyme, rhythm, and reason. The 3 R's is the method in which the animal kingdom healers, the Elfian healers of the animal kingdom, work to help the animals stay in alignment with their soul, their mission, their purpose, to help them when they're alone, and also the way of explaining how the animal kingdom connects to us. In this mini-series, you are going to learn about the 3 R's. In this video specifically, we are introducing the series, but also introducing the first R, which is rhyme. Rhyme is their communication. So rhyme is how they communicate. In this video, I'm going to be directly channeling the elder of the animal healer domain, the Elfian Animal Healer domain, the head Elfian Animal Healer, divine feminine energy to be exact. I will be channeling her throughout the whole series and in this video to offer some insight into that specific energy and how we can also connect to it in our own lives, how it can help us with our connection with the animal kingdom as a whole, whether the animals are from the positive or gray area, how we can allow ourselves to facilitate some connection to them and understand them, and even understand the messages of the negative manifestations, because it is not necessarily their fault that they were created. They are just manifestations of negativity, and when they do appear in our lives, they are letting us know of some imbalance going on, or maybe some negative energy trying to access us. So what do we do when that happens? What do we do when we receive a message from an animal, or when an animal that we wouldn't normally see comes forth to us? So even just understanding what they're trying to tell us, and also how to cleanse negativity when those negative manifestations rear their heads into our lives. And overall, just understanding that rhyme. So let's get started. Hello, beautiful souls. I am the head Elfian Animal Healer. I work with the Elfian Animal Healers as their guide and guardian and teacher, and I work with the animal kingdom specifically. Now, this specific video is regarding rhyme, so the frequency of rhyme. As a communicator has mentioned before, the 3 R's, rhyme, rhythm, and reason, is the method in which we use to help the animal kingdom. It is the method in which the animal kingdom's chakras, body systems, can be applied to healing energy. It is also the way that guiding higher being souls in animal form, like the canine and feline group souls, who have very significant purposes, and not only helping the collective all, helping animal kind, humankind, plant life kind. They have very important missions and purposes, and the cleansers of the earth. So how we help them, how we guide them, how we show them the way. Rhyme is the way that they communicate, and so rhyme energy is their song. It's their heart song. It is the way that they express themselves to the collective, the way they express themselves to each other and other animal life. It is their own unique sound. Every bird has its own unique sound. Every cat has its own unique sound. Every dog as well. You can identify the size and breed even of some cats and dogs by the type of noise that they make. It's all very unique, even if it sounds similar. Because you may like, oh, that's just another cat, that's just another dog, that's just another bird. Well, that's how they feel about you humans too. You guys sound similar to them. But when you really tap into it, you can hear it, their own uniqueness. And what's very unique about specifically the canine and feline group souls is that a lot of them have been domesticated, which means that the way that the group soul works in regards to rhyme is very different for domesticated animals, because typically they work in a pact, they work in a group, they have their team with them, or they're able to at least connect with part of their group soul. That's why it is more beneficial to have more than one animal specifically like cats and dogs, have more than one, or have them have the ability to interact with one of their own kind, just because to reconnect that group soul energy, they communicate with each other. And that's how they remember, that they are part of a bigger whole. And they don't get so lost in being toys, basically. So, that's why it's very important for that connection, and they feed off of that soul tribe connection and that communication. For rhyme, sometimes for the domesticated animals, their rhyme changes. The way that they speak changes, and the way that they bark, gruff, meow, it sounds different. It resonates at a different frequency than the strays, than the wild ones, the ones living in nature as naturally supposed to be. So the ones living in nature, they sound a little bit different, and they can understand and hear the differences. The group soul has evolved to kind of cater to the two different types of the ones living in nature and the domesticated, because in the modern reality, there is a lot of domestication, so the group souls have evolved to help cater to that, to help take care of the soul and make sure that they are still, in alignment with their rhyme, rhythm, and reason, and alignment with their balance, their harmony, with the way that they communicate, and their reason for being. Now, their rhyme is very important in regards to soul tribe energy, because in the animal kingdom specifically, each different pack, pride, tribe, they have their own unique call or sound for each other. They have that way of identifying that we are part of the same pack. Even if they are the exact same species and it's just two different prides of lions, they have that unique noise. So it's in the way that they communicate that they're able to identify their soul tribe. In regards for cleansers of the earth, they sometimes work together, even though they are different species from different groups of animals. The cleansers of the earth, obviously cats, owls, and snakes, that are cleansing the earth, clearing and removing manifestations of negativity. So these three animals can also communicate to each other in some way. It's something that happens in nature through different frequencies, different harmonies, different noises, but you can see that, for example, in that sense of those three cleanses of the earth, they have more nocturnal nature. So in the night, they can communicate to each other in different ways. On a soul level, that group soul communication that happens on an energetic level, a harmonic level, and then in the physical level through the noise coming out of the physical body. What's different with the animal kingdom in regards to their rhyme is more in alignment with the group soul. So when it comes through and communicates, it is more in harmony with the group soul. For you as humans, a lot of your communication doesn't necessarily come from your soul. It can come from the egoic form, it can come from the influence of others. Your communication body is heavily influenced by those around you, is very influenced on whether or not you are choosing your highest self or your lowest self. Your communication isn't like a direct channel from your soul and your highest self all the time. That's different for the animal kingdom, because most of the time it is. Pretty much all the time. Honestly, it is that direct funneling noise from the group soul. And they will call and they will call and they will call to physically see another member of their tribe when they're alone, or they'll try and communicate, hey, hi, and the thing that is really beautiful with the animals is they don't tend to care about different breeds as much. If you look, for example, at stray cats in the Mediterranean or in Europe, you see all different colors and shapes and sizes hanging out together, because they don't necessarily care about what the outside looks like. They know inside, we're the same soul. So whatever we look like on the outside doesn't matter. So that's why even the tiniest of tiny dogs will try to bark at the big dog and say, hey, hi, I'm here, see, we're the same, even though there are some differences, of course, between the big and the little dogs, but they don't see that outside as much. Every little dog feels like they're a big dog inside. They don't see that external thing blocking them from wanting to communicate with each other. They're gonna communicate. They're gonna howl at the moon together, and there is that blockage in the human throat chakra that they will. Like, you see the gray and the black and the brown and the red squirrels all running around together, and nothing is bothering them. You see all the different small birds are flying around together, and sometimes they might like, get territorial and act in that rhythm, which will be in the next episode. We will talk about the rhythm of the animal kingdom. But they do still sing, and their communications will cross paths because they're not blocked as much by seeing the external as a way that would block them from speaking. What we've observed from humanity is sometimes you look at external features and you block yourself from communicating. Oh, they don't look like me, they don't act like me, I don't want to talk to them. But you never know. Maybe the person that is the exact opposite of you, that looks nothing like you, on a soul level, could be from the same planet as you, could be your soul tribe, could be a soul that you've incarnated in every lifetime with. You don't know. But there is that blockage that humans have because of that egoic mind that can block their communication, even if part of them feels like, I kind of want to say something to this person. I think if this has ever happened to you, I kind of want to speak to this person, I feel like I should. But I don't know. They don't look like they'll be responsive. And everything is, they don't look like. They don't look like. What do they feel like? Take that leap of faith. Now, there's a difference between, the intuition of, okay, this doesn't feel right. Walk away. But if it's just, they don't look like, and it's coming from a place of judgment, that's blocking you from communicating, because on a soul level, you're feeling like, I need to communicate to this person. Allow yourself to. That's one of the biggest blocks. Another one of the biggest blocks is the closed-mindedness in the illusion of open-mindedness. That's very important to discuss in regards to your rhyme and your communication. So specifically with that is that there is the quote-unquote open-mindedness of things being more open and being more free, and you can speak about this, you can speak about that, but not if it disagrees with this common narrative that we've observed. We've observed from the veil line, okay, humans are now blocking their throat chakras. Because if they believe or feel something different than what's the agreed upon opinion by the collective, then they can't speak for fear of being ridiculed. That's something collective all is something to think about and work on, is when you're expressing your opinion so heavily, are you doing it in a way that you're blocking anyone else who thinks differently from wanting to communicate to you? Now, finding your like-minded tribe is important, but remember, you're all humans. You don't have a group soul, you have individual souls, that's true. But you're all human beings. So do you scream so loudly your opinions and your beliefs that you don't allow anybody else to speak their truth? You go out in nature and the animals are allowing each other to sing their heart songs. The squirrel isn't going and smacking the bird and saying, I don't like what you're singing about. They allow themselves to sing their heart songs. Even if it bothers them, they might just fly away. But they allow each other to make their noise, to communicate. And a lot of humans, you're blocking each other from speaking your truths because you can sometimes speak things so aggressively with no room for other opinions. And then sometimes there is this fighting of yelling at walls. Like you are the birds sitting on the trees and singing to who knows what. And nobody can hear you. And you hear each other, but you keep going and you keep going and you keep going. And there's no true communication. For it to be rhyme, it has to be flowing communication. So something for you to take from this message and this understanding is when it comes to communication with your fellow humans, allow yourself to do it in a way that flows. Be open-minded. If you can't handle other people's opinions, that's not their fault. That's why does it bother you? Because here's the thing. There may be things that are perceived as right and perceived as wrong and perceived as the right way of doing things and the wrong way of doing things. That's true. But But every human has free will of choice. And if you have free will of choice to choose what you chose to believe and what you chose to think and what you chose to feel, then other people do too. And if you want your opinion to be respected, you have to respect others as well. Because there's a lot of talking, but not a lot of listening. And what you often forget, your throat chakra is your ears too. It is your listening as well as your speaking. It's not just expressing your truth, it's listening, hearing, understanding other people's truth, other people's voice. Listening is a huge part of rhyme, because how can you hear how beautifully the words flow together if you're not listening? So we, as the Elfian Animal Healers, help the human part of the collective all by educating on connection to soul tribes and finding them. So the first step you can take from this video, I'll give 2 steps in this video of how to connect to your soul tribe. Okay? 1, learn how to communicate your truth. 2, learn how to listen. Listen to someone else's with no judgment, open-mindedly. You don't have to agree. Listen to something opposite from you, because you have the beautiful benefit of opposite in the physical. It's the polarity in the physical. Beyond the veil and the higher realms, there is no polarity. It's just the higher realms. On Earth, the middle, there's a polarity. And for your soul's development, you choose to incarnate in a polarity because you want those differences. You want to hear those opposites. See how they challenge you. But remember, listen compassionately and communicate assertively, not aggressively. There's a lot of aggressive communication going on, causing a lot of stress and fear and anxiety, a lot of fake communication, a lot of things based completely on lies. To be able to trust your intuition about what you're hearing, you need to work on healing the ears, your listening part of your throat chakra. Because you can talk and talk and talk. Humans can talk and talk and talk and talk. Sometimes meaninglessly, but it ends up having a meaning at the end of the day, because even the meaningless conversation has meaning. But do you listen? Or can your intuition tell you that what you're hearing is true or false if your ears are blocked? Work on the ears to better understand your communication, better understand yourself, and ultimately finding your tribe, because your tribe may look opposite than you, or may even at first think opposite than you. You might challenge each other and have a deep discussion and reach common ground, and that's maybe the path that you chose to meet each other so that you could grow and evolve together. You don't know. There isn't a one-size-fits-all. But what does fit all right now is healing the ears, working on that listening, not waiting to just speak, because overactive throat is still underactive, because overactive speaking is underactive listening, and that's off balance all around. So that's what we encourage you to work on. And next week, we will discuss the rhythm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for communicating, Elfian Animal Healer Elder. I saw a few visuals to offer some insight, and the main thing was, I saw a lot of birds, stagnant or stuck birds that weren't moving, but they kept singing. And I saw a chipmunk. And chipmunks, when they start like making noise, they don't stop. And I saw it just going rah, 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 non-stop. And it wasn't listening or hearing anything. It wasn't open to anything. It wasn't open to help. It would run and still go rah, rah, rah. I think that paralleled with like the symbol and visual of the media and different things, of things just going rah, rah, rah all the time. And a lot of things not, and a lot of people just not kind of quieting to listen. But I also saw the inverse of that, of a lot of us are just hearing, and we're not able to speak. I mean, the big overall collective thing is a lot of the speaking and not listening, but there is a lot of us that are just absorbing, mainly from media and TV, and all of those things, just absorbing, and then sometimes that like will trigger us, and we'll go and we'll speak with not wanting to listen because we've heard too much. And there is also that hearing all the time, filling your, because that's what I was seeing. I was seeing like the symbol of like sound frequency elementals, that's kind of more their area of speaking on, that we do clog our ears a lot. We hear a lot of nonsensical noise, and we do have a lot of off balance in our ears. I would say the most common thing when I do a Reiki, like when I receive Reiki, when I get checks for my blockages, it's not necessarily my throat chakra, it's my ears that are off balance, because we are just constantly consuming. And the thing with the ears is that they directly affect the crown, the mental body, the third eye, the throat, and the heart. The ears are connected, to the throat chakra, but they do affect the whole upper body they affect your whole upper body systems. They affect everything. And I saw the symbol of kind of taking the ears as a separate thing than the throat, and breaking it down until we can put them together again. So breaking them down in the sense of seeing what can like clog our ears and block our mind and influence us to speak in certain ways that don't necessarily resonate with who we are and our truth. And then once we've done that, bringing it back to the throat. Okay, so how can I listen and hear and speak in harmony? Really working on that. So I will definitely, in the future, maybe do something with the sound frequency elementals for a little bit more guidance on how we can do that, because that's really coming through. But I feel like the first main step is always that like reflection of self, but a sound diet. So if you're feeling like, okay, that's resonating true, maybe I'm not listening like to other people, but I'm absorbing. I'm listening. I'm listening to the TV and everything, but when I go out in public, I don't want to listen to anyone, and I just want to speak. Understanding that, taking a break from all the external sound frequency to open yourselves up to hearing each other, hearing your fellow human. One visual I also saw is just that like sometimes the biggest sound cleansing thing is sitting out in nature, and I wouldn't say like in your backyard, because like in the States, for a lot of us, our backyard is like, you hear lawnmowers and dogs barking and people talking, but maybe going to the park or like going somewhere quiet where you can hear nature and really reconnect with the sounds of the earth to cleanse your ears. Because you might not necessarily need to do a whole sound diet cleansing, but if you put yourself back in nature and allow that grounding and allow your ears to just feel relief from everything, open yourself up to hearing another human and have that exchange, that dialogue, that debate. Humans, we are very debatey. If you look in history, I think specifically of like my cultural history, like the Greeks are very debatey. They will sit in the agora and they will talk. They would debate about everything and anything about philosophy and politics, and they're still like that. Very much we're still like that. So that debating nature that we have, but debating with an open mind of listening and hearing, understanding, and not just having your retort and your rebuttal ready, listening and actually allowing yourself to process what you're hearing and feel maybe if a new idea or a new interpretation comes through. We have to allow ourselves to be challenged and not just always try to speak what we are thinking all the time, because sometimes those thoughts could come from whatever other external source. When we're challenged and we allow our higher self to step forth, we can really hear what our intuitive insight is. So really tapping in more to that intuitive insight. So there's a lot there, and a lot with understanding our own individual rhyme and how we speak. But to fix it with the animal kingdom specifically is to sit in the silence and hear them, hear them speak. That's like the best way, and that's the visual that she was giving me, is that the best way we can heal our communication with the animals is to sit and listen to them. Because we've tried to silence them. We have literally played God in whether or not certain animals should be in such high population or not. We've overpopulated animals. We've underpopulated animals. We haven't really sat and listened to them. I mean, a lot of the structure of our society isn't sitting and being in nature and connecting with them. It's that reconnection with them that is so important. So important. And can help us a lot with any blockages we have in our own throat chakra and our ears, because we are going to have a blockage. Even we open ourselves up and we fix it with our fellow humans. If we're not allowing it with the animal kingdom, we're not allowing ourselves to hear them. We're getting annoyed when they're making noise. We don't want anything to do with them. I mean, they're a part of our life, and we were sent here. As beings of life, we are to watch over the land and the animals and the plants. So if we're isolating ourselves from hearing anything, any noise that they make, anything that they express, in any way that they express it, then, the best way to word it is we're causing our own blockages. And it's because we're going against our reason. It's all related. It's all related. We're going against rhyme, really. Against rhythm and rhyme, but the rhythm. And the rhythm part is more about boundaries. And that's the next episode. So I will see you guys next week for the rhythm. The rhythm. Because that aspect of the 3 R's is one that, I feel like rhyme, speaking, and the reason is the purpose, but that rhythm, that flow is something that we don't think of very often, that we are supposed to flow in rhythm with each other. So we'll talk about that next week. Sending you love, light, and inspiration. Until then, stay inspired.